Alright, so I'm going to explain my theory about why in the Sonic Destruction series by Snapcube, there are actually 3 versions of Shadow the Hedgehog, and it's all very clever and makes perfect sense, actually. So, to begin with, we know that Daedalus the Hedgehog is an insane scientist slash sorcerer slash wizard who worked with the government on Project Shadow in Epirus with Gerald Robotnik while Silver was going by the name Shadow the Hedgehog and was also the prince of Epirus and also was like looked like we think Shadow to look now. So here is the theory. Project Shadow was a cloning experiment. I mean, that's not really a theory. That's canon. To create the ultimate life form based on existing DNA. And obviously, they were going to use Shadow slash Silver, the Prince of Epirus's DNA because of his latent and powerful psychic abilities. And then they mixed it with Black Doom, the devil from Bible, to try to bring out more powerful abilities with the help of... So Gerald was responsible for combining the DNA, and Daedalus, the sorcerer, summoned the devil from Bible to use the magical power of hell in part of Project Shadow. But then, something went wrong. We know that Eggman was framed for the destruction of Epirus for razing the entire thing to the ground. And we know that Daedalus used to live in Epirus and blames Eggman, and his entire villain motivation is that he's going to destroy the world because Epirus was destroyed, and he's sad about it or something. So, here's the thing, though. Eggman was framed, and it wasn't actually him that killed... that did the destroying of Epirus. What it actually was, we don't particularly know, but we know it wasn't Eggman. And we also know that in that destruction... in the destruction of Epirus, Daedalus was, like, injured and presumed dead by the United States government and Gunn and whatever. And Gerald. And we know that Daedalus thinks that Shadow the Hedgehog is dead after Epirus was destroyed. But that actually, in the very same explosion that razed Epirus, which was a meteor, quote, from the ground that rose up and then fell back down on Epirus and destroyed everything, and also the king and queen of Epirus were inside and they died on impact. That's not important to the theory, it's just funny to say. Anyway, so my theory is that the quote-unquote meteor that rose up from the ground and then exploded was actually the secret base that Gunn was doing Project Shadow in, slash maybe a version of Space Colony Arc, question mark? Anyway.
Interesting.
And Daedalus was on it, and also the incomplete Shadow the Hedgehog clone was on it, and obviously the King and Queen of Epirus, as we know, they died upon impact. And so Daedalus was in the process of creating the clone of Shadow the Hedgehog that was going to be the ultimate life form, while Gerald and Eggman were not in the area. So for some reason, he assumed that they caused the base to self-destruct while they were out on purpose. Meanwhile, he witnesses the incomplete Shadow the Hedgehog clone being destroyed and sees... What are you doing?
Huh?
And
did you even see my skin?
Yes.
Good.
So he sees... thanks for the EXP, loser. So he sees...
Thanks for being
the
in
Shadow
the
the
game,
Hedgehog
loser.
clone being destroyed. And he sees Silver, well, Shadow, the being that will one day call itself Silver, in the blast radius of the explosion, and assumes that, alright, Shadow the Hedgehog is dead. And also the government assumes I am dead, and I need a plan to get my revenge on the government slash Eggman slash Gerald for causing all of this and destroying my home kingdom of Epirus. So I'm going to pretend to be Shadow the Hedgehog. And he uses magic to disguise himself as Shadow the Hedgehog. And so the Shadow the Hedgehog that we've known the entire dub so far has actually been Daedalus. But also, there was another version of Shadow the Hedgehog in the Ark that was destroyed. But also, Prince Shadow the Hedgehog of Epirus did not die in the explosion, but instead was altered by the by the explosion into the being that we now know as Silver, the incarnation of the devil himself.
This is peak, but also where does Miku from Sonic Riders fit in?
Well, you see, she is God, as opposed to Black Doom, the devil, that who was in the Ark when it exploded, and that's why he was combined with Silver in the explosion, and that is why Silver is the incarnation of the devil himself. I will now take questions about my theory.
No, it totally makes sense. Totally.
I totally understood everything that was said, and I do not need further explanation, because I have totally seen Sonic Destruction.